What's going on, everybody? RJ Ochoa here from SB Nation's bloggingtheboys.com. Hope all is well wherever you are. Hope you're happy, safe, healthy, and let me be the first. Actually, I hope I'm not the first, but let me be the first, if I am, to wish you a very happy Victory Polo Monday. The Dallas Cowboys defeated those frauds, the Philadelphia Eagles, on Sunday afternoon. Those fraudulent Philadelphia Eagles got out to a 21-0 lead, and because they are frauds. They blew it. It's very sad. It's very frustrating from their perspective. It's absolutely hilarious and peak theater from our perspective, the good guys' perspective. And so I hope that Monday has been everything that you wanted it to be. I hope that it has been perfect and amazing. And I should say right now at the very beginning, I mentioned this in my post-game show, which you can watch on the Blog on the Boys YouTube channel. Like all of my content, please like the video, subscribe. You can hang out with me on social media. The links to all of my social profiles are down in the description below. I did mention this in my my post-game show here on the channel, and I'll say it today because it is today. Today is Monday, November 24th. It was 4 years ago that my life and my wife's life were changed forever. Our son was born 4 years ago today. Happy birthday, son. Daddy loves you. I just am so unbelievably blessed to be your dad, to know you and to have you in my life. And if you are someday in the future coming back to see the things that dad did for a living, for his work, and you stumble upon some videos like this, just know that you have made mommy and I so proud, and you light up our life, and we are just unbelievably blessed from God to be your mom and dad. And so thank you to everyone for the kind words. I saw a lot of comments on the post-game show and on social media. When he was born, he spent 2 months in the NICU, and the nurses and the doctors in the NICU are just the biggest and best angels in the world. And those were, given when he was born. It's obviously November 24th. It was that year. It was the night before Thanksgiving, and so you're talking about some holidays. And I think about parents and families in the NICU at this time of year every year now since. And I remember somebody telling me then, online, on Twitter, somewhere, somebody said, I had a lot of people who shared their experiences in the NICU. And somebody said that someday this will all feel like a distant memory. And thank God we're at that point now. But if you or someone is in the NICU or knows of a situation like that, just know that you are constantly in my thoughts and prayers. And the other thing I was told, I promise we're about to get to football. Hopefully, if I can fight off getting emotional. Everybody said that being a dad is the best thing in the world, and they were all right. I am so grateful and blessed to do what I do for a living, and it never ever feels like work. But being my son's dad is just the best. And so happy birthday, son. Dad loves you. Dad loves the Dallas Cowboys, as do a lot of you, and I think all of you. If you don't and you're here, I would be very curious how that happened. 24-21 the final score. It's a quick week. I talk a lot clearly about emotions and the emotions that I feel relative to football and how that kind of impacts my viewing experience, and I hope is something that you enjoy. There's nothing like this. There's nothing like when you go into Thanksgiving off of a big Cowboys win, and the energy and the vibes and the momentum. Like, it's all just different. It's a very different thing for Dallas Cowboys fans, and maybe to some degree to Detroit Lions fans. I certainly can't speak to that, but because this is a part of the fabric of our Thanksgiving experience, whether when I was a kid, we would spend every Thanksgiving at my aunt and uncle's house and see my cousins, and it was just kind of the tradition. And so we all kind of, knew what to do and knew how it worked, and we'd watch the Cowboys game. But if they were coming off a big win or a really frustrating loss, right, it's conversation around the dinner table, whether it's the actual Thanksgiving dinner or the night before, or whatever you're doing. If you're going shopping, go to the movies, I don't know. But it just is different. And so this week now carries this awesome energy. And so while that's true, it is a very, very fast, quick, high-paced, none of those words made sense, moving week. So an update of sorts. Obviously, this is, my video with thoughts on the game that we just saw. Earlier in the day on Monday, dropped my interview with DeMarcus, where that did happen. And on Tuesday, we will have a big day. There will be a live NFC East mixtape with myself and Brandon Lee Gowton. Looking forward to that. But later on Tuesday, we are scheduled, because these things are always subject to change, but scheduled to have an interview that I'll conduct with George Pickens. So very much looking forward to that. Like the video, subscribe so you don't miss any of this stuff. This was a galvanizing win for the Cowboys. And I don't say that from the perspective of, watch out, here they come, they're going to the playoffs. I don't think anybody is is jumping to that conclusion. But Sunday's performance, not just Sunday's win, Sunday's performance, and that it was a rally, and that it took the entire team, that it had these magical moments that just felt, like they were from a higher power to some degree. It almost, I think, and we were really looking for this as Dallas Cowboys fans for a long time. You could certainly argue since the Packers playoff loss, and I know we've made that point many times, but it almost kind of gives you permission to believe again. Or maybe not permission, but it kind of opens your heart to being willing to believe again, right? Like, we've given our heart to this team many different times, and forget the fact that they've broken it, but it's just felt like they didn't even take care of it while breaking it, right? And so this game felt like, I think, our first step back towards, man, this is just, when it's happening, is so much fun. And so again, call it permission, call it a willingness, but the way everything happened on Sunday for the Cowboys, it feels safe is not the right word, because sports are fickle, and you can win and lose on a moment's notice, but it feels fair and rational to hope and to trust, not in a way that makes little sense, because we understand we're talking about a 5-5-1 football team, but you really can't recapture naivete or innocence in a lot of, facets in life, but you can in sports. And so I guess that Sunday's win for the Cowboys made us feel like innocent and naive football fans once again, and that was a feeling that we have been longing for a very long time. Um, and some of that is just because sometimes you can't explain how it happens. You can't justify, you can't rationalize how this happened. It doesn't make sense. It should not have worked, or whatever the case may be. But it did happen. It did work. The Cowboys came back from being down 21-0. They stopped the Eagles. Think about this for a second. The Cowboys held the Eagles without any points on their final 7 possessions of the game. Mandatory shout out to Monica Geller. The Eagles went 7 possessions to close the game without scoring a single point. And of those Monica Geller 7 possessions, only twice did the Eagles even cross midfield or gain more than 18 yards. Think about that. Now, I know that the Eagles offense has been floundering and has all sorts of issues, and that really is such a shame. But that is a big time accomplishment for a Cowboys defense that, let's be honest here, was among the worst in franchise history for a large part of the first half of the season. So for them to dig in, this is now no longer just something you did against the Raiders. I suppose to some degree it's just something you did against a floundering Eagles offense, but that was a very impressive thing, independent of the circumstances, independent of the fact that they were in a hole and they had to do all of that just to have a puncher's chance. And the defense did. They dug in. They gave the offense that puncher's chance, and it all worked together in perfect harmony, and it was a really amazing thing. Those types of games don't come along often, and maybe we are entering this little run that the Cowboys are going to have. I did not jump aboard when everyone said that the Quinnen Williams trade, Logan Wilson too, but the Quinnen Williams trade would be like the Amari Cooper trade. Everybody knows the Cowboys fell to 3-5 right after they got Amari Cooper. They were 3-4 when they traded for him. They were 3-5. They wound up winning the NFC East. And the reason I pushed back on just drawing to that, point in history was that the Eagles, at least if we want to talk about them, they were reigning Super Bowl champions at the time. They were 3-4 when the Cowboys were 3-4. And the team leading the NFC East at the time was Washington. And Alex Smith was the quarterback at the time. That was the year he suffered that gruesome injury. And so the circumstances around the Cowboys just lent themselves to them taking charge of the NFC East. I still don't think that's going to happen. I still would bet on the Eagles to win this division. The reality is they may have lost and they may be offensive frauds, but they're 8-3 and the Cowboys are 5-1. That's just so much ground to make up. But I do think, I think that we're all willing to entertain the idea that the Cowboys could make this a race relative to one of the wild card spots in the NFC. We're not saying that, watch out, here they come, this is definitely going to happen, but they've won 2 games in a row. They have proven to be a much better, a significantly improved defense, obviously thanks to the addition and acquisition of Quinnen Williams. They are figuring things out. George Pickens is coming alive in a way that was inconceivable even before these last 2 games when he was already very, very, very good. So it is not without or out of the realm of possibility to believe or conceive that the Cowboys could be a wild card team. Now they're going to have to win almost all of their remaining games. They're going to have to get to 9, and that might not even be enough wins on the season to have a chance to be a playoff team. But I think that they have the potential to do it. I think the schedule and everything ahead of them lines up in that sense. And so they're going to make this a race and they're going to make it entertaining. And I think that, when they were 3-5-1, we would have signed up for that. So buckle up. We're about to watch it. And I think that when you look at the remaining schedule, I said, and I want to be very clear about this because it can be confusing. The Cowboys entered Sunday's game against the Eagles in a position where they had to win 2 of their upcoming 3 games and then 3 of their upcoming 4 games after that. They've already beaten the Eagles, so they got 1 of the 3 in front of them at that moment in time. So in my estimation, they need to split at worst the Chiefs and Lions games. That's possible, certainly, and you would love, obviously, to win more games that I'm talking about. But those final 4 games for the Cowboys, after they play the Lions on Thursday Night Football, they get the Vikings at home off of the mini-bye. They get the Chargers at home. They get the Commanders on the road, short week. It's on Christmas Day. And then they get the Giants on the road. And I know the Giants looked more fun and interesting as of late, but I think we all trust the Cowboys to beat them. It is not absurd to suggest that this Cowboys team could get to 9 wins. It's not absurd to say they could win those final 4 games, let alone, obviously, dependent or independent on what happens in front of that. But this team is playing well and has a schedule that lends to their favor to a certain degree. Crazier things have definitely happened. And again, that isn't said from the perspective of, I really think this is going to happen, but it's fun and it's interesting. And ultimately that's, I think, what we kind of want to some degree, but I recognize if you think that's reaching. Before we get out of here, I do have to say that, man, I'm on cloud 9. I've had so much caffeine. We had a birthday party. We have an actual birthday. There's a lot going on. Short week, Thanksgiving. I'm getting the brine ready to make the turkey, smoke the turkey, all this different stuff. But my classic Cowboy moment of the week. Classic Cowboy makes the best hats. Dak Prescott wears them. The Dallas Cowboys themselves love them. You should get yourself a classic Cowboy hat. My classic Cowboy moment of the week for the Cowboys against the Philadelphia Eagles was George Pickens putting them in easy peasy field goal range. George Pickens was a monster against the Philadelphia Eagles. George Pickens was incredible. He obviously drew some classic Cowboy, feels to peak Dallas Cowboys wide receivers. I know a lot of people have compared him to Randy Moss, but and the way he took, not a Cowboy, in fact, the opposite of a Cowboy from an emotional standpoint. I know that was a horrible thing to bring up. Forget it. Classic Cowboy, and just a lot of incredible classic Cowboy demonstrative energy in the best possible way. So George Pickens, all kudos in the world for taking over when the moment demanded it. He has been quite special, and I hope he gets a contract extension sooner rather than later. Okay, my name is RJ Ochoa. You can hang out with me on social media, X, Instagram, and Threads at RJ Ochoa, TikTok, RJ.Ochoa, rj.ochoa@sbnation.com is how you can email me. Go like my Facebook page. If you're on the internet anywhere doing anything, I promise you I'm there talking about the Dallas Cowboys. The links to all of these things are also down in the description below. You can like the video right over here, and you can subscribe right over here. And remember, on Tuesday, scheduled to have an interview with George Pickens drop, but on Monday did drop an interview with DeMarcus Ware. So go check that out. He was awesome. He offered some kind and exciting words about Quinnen Williams. So let's go ahead and get out of here. I love you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Go Cowboys.